What's going on, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. My name is Jaleesa if you're new here, and today I'm going to be cooking BIRRIA's tacos, y'all. These are some of my favorite tacos at this moment, and I am super excited to share with you all my process. So if you've been curious about how to make these tacos, keep watching this video and I'm going to show you all the steps. One of the good things I love about this particular recipe is, one, I don't have to chop and dice everything. All I have to do is slice off the top of certain vegetables like my garlic and my onions and throw it in a pot and it's good to go. I did want to note that these peppers, I got these from the local international store. So if you are interested in making this recipe, I would highly recommend visiting your local international store. I also want to point out, when you are chopping these peppers, make sure that you get all of the seeds out before you put it in your actual cooking pot. Throughout this cooking process, these are the primary seasonings that I'll be using. As I'm seasoning my pot, I'm making sure that I'm moving around my meats, my peppers, things of that sort, so that everything is thoroughly being seasoned. Something that I considered that I'll probably do the next time that I make this dish is that I will season my meat and let it marinate overnight. I think that would help to bring out those extra flavors. So if you are considering making this dish, I would highly recommend marinating and seasoning your meats the night before you cook. For the pot that I'm using, I'm going to be filling it up with 7 to 8 cups of water to get my boil started. All of my veggies and my meat are in the pot, they're seasoned. I'm gonna let my stew boil for about 30 minutes and then I'm gonna take those peppers out after 30 minutes and blend them so that I can get that red sauce, which will give my stew the red color that if you've ever eaten these type of tacos, the dipping sauce has that bright red color. This is my second time making this recipe. So if you've ever had BIRRIA's tacos, you know that the side dipping sauce, in my opinion, it has a consistency of a broth. However, the first time I made it, the consistency of my sauce was more the consistency of a stew. I did some research on this dish and it is a stew style dish. So I was satisfied with the consistency. I thought it was good. I'm curious and hoping if this time around cooking it the second time, I can get more to like the restaurant style consistency of the dipping sauce. But either way, the first time I cooked it, it was bomb.com. I'm not gonna lie, them tacos were good. So I am super excited to be cooking these joints again. Now that it's been 30 minutes, I'm gonna go ahead and stir my pot. As you can see, my veggies and things are starting to break down, and I'm going to go ahead and start pulling out those peppers so that I can blend my peppers to get that red coloring for my dish. It is very important that you are blending your peppers all the way down so that there's not too many fragments or big pieces still lingering once you add it to your pot. So before I put this back in the pot, I wanted to show you all that bright red coloring that I told you all. So that's how you get the coloring for the dipping sauce. Look at that. It looks so good, y'all. So I like to make sure I get every last drop of my blended peppers out. As you can see, it's not that much that you get when you blend them together, so it's important that you don't waste any. Now, as I was stirring and mixing the pepper sauce in my pot, I noticed I had some lingering peppers, so I did blend that off camera. And lastly, I'm going to add some chili powder to my pot to further add to that red coloring. So now that my chili peppers have been blended and they've been added to the stew, I'm gonna let my pot simmer for about 3 hours. Funny thing, the last time I cooked these tacos, I started at like 7 o'clock at night and I didn't know they were supposed to cook for 3 hours. So I'm cooking way earlier today, y'all, to avoid that and to really allow my meat to just kind of soak in all those juices and seasonings and not overcook them or rush the process. So I'm gonna chill out for a little while, do some other things. I'm gonna check in on it every 30-40 minutes just to make sure it's good. Probably the first time I check in, I'm gonna do a seasoning taste to make sure the seasonings are at my liking. But I will tell you all one thing, it smells so good in here. It smells fantastic. This stew, these tacos, this meat, it smells good. I wish you all could be here right now to smell the goodness in my kitchen. That was like the ugliest face ever. This joint is hot. Hot as in heat, not in like spices. But it tastes good so far. I think I'm gonna add a little bit more seasoning just to give it that some oomph to it. And then it'll be good. I'm gonna season it for a little bit more for about 10-15 more minutes, and then I'm gonna take it off and start shredding my meat. So far I can already see the meat falling off the bone, so we're almost done with it simmering in the pot. But the broth and the stew, it tastes good. I just want to add a little bit more oomph to it. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes since I added those last bit of seasonings, and it's time to take my pot off the eye. Look how the meat has just fallen off of the bones. Like, it's falling into the pot. Look, a whole bone in there. Now I'm going to skim the top of the broth, stew. I'm kind of using them interchangeably, but I'm gonna skim the top to get all that grease and stuff, and I'm gonna use that to actually make the tacos. This is all of the grease that I got out of the pot, so I'm gonna use this to actually make the tacos. So it's gonna grease up my pan and get that nice reddish brown color that most BIRRIA tacos have. So I'm gonna sit this aside, and then I'm gonna go ahead and scoop out all of the vegetables like the garlics, the carrot, the onions out, and then I'm gonna go and shred my meat. Now to assemble these tacos, you will need, of course, a taco shell, your shredded steak, and quesadilla cheese. And of course, as I stated earlier, the grease that you skim from the top of your pot will be used to grease your pan so that it does not stick, or at least it minimizes the sticking. So to be honest, during the first part of assembly of my tacos, I did struggle. I did not put enough grease in my pan, as you can see. Then the tacos that I was using were thin. So as you'll see, they didn't hold up during the assembly process. So first round was, we'll just say it was a test round. As you can see, for my second round of assembly, learning from the first, I made sure I added a lot of the grease to make sure my pan was extra greasy. I doubled up my tacos and used 2 shells instead of 1. And then of course, I added my shredded beef and my quesadilla cheese. It's time to finally enjoy my meal. Final product. Tacos, rice, got my dipping sauce. All right, see how this goes. Yep. I don't want to chew with my mouth open, but that beef is hitting. It's nice and soft and moist. It tastes good, y'all. I'm very satisfied with how the tacos turned out. I'm going to finish my meal off camera, but thank you all so much for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video, please like it. Liking this video helps small channels like myself grow. If you enjoyed this recipe, comment below. Tell me some things that you liked about it. If you've cooked BIRRIA's tacos and you've done things differently, please let me know. And again, I enjoy cooking, so I plan on doing more videos like this. So if there's any recipes you'd like me to do, maybe you've thought about cooking it, but you're not sure about it, comment below and I'll definitely take my try at it. Subscribe to my channel, y'all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And as always, I will catch you all in the next video below.